I want to share some information that I've learned, things I've learned while building my pinball machine. Uh, Today what I'm going to talk about is DIN rails and terminal blocks. Now DIN rails are these nice little components that you can use to mount things onto. They come in various lengths and various sizes. This is the type I'm using. I'm not sure what the specification is on this. They have different types that have, I think, different heights and widths on them, but you can get them in different lengths on these. As you can see, here's like a little 2 to 3 inch long one that's in the, I haven't even removed out of the package. This one's about 1 foot long. What these are handy for is you can get things that have mounts that attach to that. I'm going to show an example right here of where I put some terminal blocks on here. They just slide over those rails. Again, a convenient mounting system. What I've got here, I'm going to take these apart a little bit, and apologies, I tend to shake a bit at times, sometimes more so than others. I know it's a bit distracting, but it's something I just have to deal with on a regular basis. Essentially, these little terminal blocks, I'm going to show what they look like. So you kind of have a point where you can put a wire in on each side, and they have these little push downs on there that you can push. They'll open up the contact on the inside, push a wire in there, and then when you release that little orange push down there, it'll clamp back down on that wire, and that runs from each side so that those 2 points where you put the wires in would be interconnected. You can link these things together. So for instance, if I took a second one of these, I can line it up and essentially put them back to back on this, and you can get these little shorting blocks that you would put in there, and like I'm going to show an example here. This little shorting block has 2 pins on it, so you could link 2 of these together. There's ways that you can link multiple ones together by using different combinations of different length shorting blocks. I've got a bag here that has some 4 pins in it that you could short together 4 of these. It's pretty convenient. Nice, like I said, nice way to manage cables that you could run in, like maybe have different circuits where you might have like 5 volts or 24 volts, maybe 12 volts. You run a wire in with it, provides your ground or your power for that particular circuit, and then you can run out to each different component. The wires on that. Amperage rating is going to vary depending on who your manufacturer is. I think I can't remember for certain. I think they're in the 20 to 25 amp range on average. You can get these in different colors. You know, I've got some that are like orange. I've got like yellow and blue, and obviously the green here. There are other components that you can get for this too. This can be visible on here. This is a little stop block that you can just kind of line up against that. Tighten these screws down, and you put one on each side, and it'll keep that from sliding back and forth if you tighten those screws down. There are these little plates. They're like an insulator, and essentially, since one side of this is exposed, you put that insulator over it if necessary. Slide that in if you didn't use those stop blocks, and to keep something from touching that inadvertently. It's what I suspect the purpose is primarily for. Again, I've used these DIN rails for like the cable management there. I've used it for power supplies. You know, if you look here, you can see where I put a wire in there. It holds the wire pretty snugly. It won't come out of there on the most part. You know, it's like put one in on each side. Again, what you would do is you would press down in that little orange slot there and put the wire in, release that, and it'll lock it in place on it. They'll take, I've used them for wire gauges, like in the pinball machine I'm using 18 and 22 gauge predominantly. Works well for both of those. These are pretty good. In general, they're intended for more so for solid core wire versus stranded, but a lot of times you're using stranded in a pinball machine. I'll at another point in time I'll talk about another tool to help out with adapting solid stranded core to work in solid core scenarios like that. There's several workarounds, but anyway, that's kind of what I use for cable management on there, and I hope that kind of was useful information. I'll shoot more videos of different things that I've learned while building this machine and things I'll continue to learn. Hope you enjoyed that.